When you come to a crossroad and run into the winner and the quitter in you, listen to the winner. The quitter will never take you down the road you want to travel. I believe we all have a winner in us. There is a winner inside of you. Sometimes we just have been around negativity for way too long, developed the mindset of a winner. The truth is, most people give up on their dream. Most people give up on their dream to live the average lifestyle. But it really doesn't matter what most people do. What do you do? Because you are different. You will never give up on your dream. You will never not listen to the average. You will always listen to the winner in you. You will believe in yourself when no one else does. You will believe in yourself when you have no reason to believe, and you will never, ever quit. I know some of you are going through a rough time right now. Some of you are going through the fight of your life, fighting for your future, fighting for your career, fighting for your family. Some of you are fighting for your life. And I'm telling you, don't quit. Do not give in. I know life can be tough. I know life can wear you down. But if you just stick it out, even if you don't get the result you will find, the character you show will be your reward. The fighting spirit you develop will be the reward, and it will serve you well for the rest of your life. Fight for what you want now, or fight against what you don't want later. You choose. Don't you dare quit. Don't you dare settle. Don't you dare get back down. Not today or any other day. When the tough moments come, never forget you are in that moment writing your own legacy. In that tough moment, you are setting the standard for your character. Do you have the character? Well, do you? When you come to a crossroad and run into the winner and the quitter in you, listen to the winner. When you make a commitment to yourself, you make sure you see it through. Never, ever quit. Even if you don't get the result, you will find the character you show will be your reward. Don't you dare quit. Don't you dare ever settle, and don't you dare ever back down. Fight for what you want or fight against what you don't want at a later time. And always know that God is right there with you. Just allow God to guide and direct you, and you will always be a winner.
Good morning. My name is Ralf Friedrichs. I am an addiction recovery life coach and host of this show, the Take Your Life Back Today radio show, in combination with the YouTube version on channel Take Your Life Back Today show on YouTube. Saturday weekend is here, and I want to talk about loving yourself and them. A disclaimer for self-love. There's a strong debate over the topic of lack of self-love versus a person's ability to love another person. So let's address that. Can a person who hates themselves have intense feelings they interpret as love for another person? Absolutely is the answer. Everyone feels an intense draw or connection to other people, no matter what their self-image is. Even narcissists who are completely devoid of compassion and empathy feel love, but their own interpretation is theirs. However, in order to have a healthy relationship with another person, it is impossible to love another person in the context of what healthy love is. I'm going to break down why. If you're a person who hates themselves, you're never experienced or witnessed love in its true form. You probably weren't raised around or given examples of real love, only a poor, diluted substitute. You were conditioned to believe what it was you received was love and taught that you were less. I don't mean that you've never received genuine affection, my friends, but the type of love you're required to give in a healthy relationship wasn't available to you as a child and as an adolescent. Real love is selfless. It's unconditional in absence of abuse, an absence of neglect, an absence of disrespect. Poor self-image leads to poor choices in partners. The type that disrespect and mistreat you, which is usually followed by abuse in some form, but not in all cases. Sometimes it's something as simple as cheating. Now, another person's actions are not your fault. However, they are a direct reflection of the amount of respect your partner has for you. Where did they learn how they were allowed to treat you? Who gave them permission to treat you that way? You did. In the majority of cheating cases, but not all, the man is given a second chance. So if you're watching and you're a woman, why? A woman will justify a decision based on her feelings for her partner and not based on what she deserves or based on the fear of being alone, which all circle back to self-respect and circles again to self-image. So women, don't give out second chances. A person who respects themselves, loves themselves, would never entertain the idea that they should give a second chance to a person who didn't respect them on their first try, no matter what that form took. Whether it was a blatant verbal disrespect or something more indirect like cheating. The women you see that do walk out of these situations know their level of worth and have zero tolerance for less than they deserve. They also know in their minds what the last wouldn't provide. Another will. They don't give more power to their feelings for the person who mistreated them, and they do their own value because a person who values themselves knows a person willing to cheat will continue to cheat because their partner may get extremely mad but will never actually leave. Second chances are no good. There will always be reasons and excuses that outweigh their own value in their minds, which gives these predators power over their partner. Self-hate is derived of low self-esteem. There was a woman I heard about once who gave her spouse an epic dose of her own power in her own self-worth. She came home one evening from work to find her boyfriend of 5 years cheating on her. She didn't confront him or even intervene in the scene. There was no argument. She left the apartment, changed her phone number, accepted a job in another state, and was never heard from by her boyfriend ever again. This is the most iconic example of ghosting in history. So ladies, if you're watching me, we all need that amount of power in our lives. Power comes from self-respect. Self-respect comes from self-esteem. Self-esteem comes from love of self. You can love another person without them, but you can't love another person correctly and be loved correctly in return without them. Without them, you'll always accept the least because subconsciously, that's all you feel you deserve. When you have love for yourself, what you are willing to accept and your taste in men will change. So this video is really addressed to the ladies. But then, same goes for men of women. Lack of self-love comes in many forms. These are not only types. Usually the men who are disrespectful, abusive, cheaters all lack love for themselves but act out differently. A man who doesn't respect himself will not respect his woman. A man who does not love himself will not take care of his woman and her emotional needs. A man who does not love himself will guard against hurt at all cost, even if that cost is you, if you're watching me. A man who does not love himself will incredibly be selfish and not understand what it is to put to another person before himself, which is exactly what is required from both parties for a healthy relationship and the actual definition of love to be present. Even if you are not religious, think of it in the context of the Bible verse in this same way. Husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hated their own body, but they feed and care for their body just as Christ does the church. Ephesians 5:28 through 29. We all know it is possible to hate your body, yourself, which is an entire reason we are here. People don't care for things they hate, though, which entirely is the point I'm getting to. You don't give gifts to a mean girl in high school who bullied you the entire 4 years. You don't go out of your way to help that person, or a co-worker maybe who has made your work environment a living hell. In the same sense, a man who hates himself is never going to treat his woman better than he does himself. He is never going to recognize her value and give her what she's truly worth. He will take her for granted, demand and expect and persecute and belittle and disrespect her in every broad or subtitle ways until she breaks or leaves. From that same line, though, we see that the mention of not feeding or nurturing our body if we do not love it. Those who suffer with anorexia can verify that to not be true today, unlike the time period in which that verse was written. What about the rest of us, though, that don't starve ourselves and have a poor self-image? We still feed it, right? Of course we do, because we have to survive. But we don't take care of it by eating properly in both amount and substance. We don't treat it like a temple. We give it the bare minimum. Bare minimum is not limited to the amount of also nutritional value. Poor dietary choices are also equated to self-hate. We are never going to put more effort into someone else that we not put into ourselves first. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, nutritionally. Think about your last 5 relationships. What type of people were you dating? Were there any similarities in their type? What went wrong? What are some of the commonalities the relationships all share? Cheating, neglect, fighting, short tempers, lying, disrespect, abuse, even following the relationship on and off with your partner. We are not at fault for how another person acts or treats us, but we are responsible for what we tolerate from those people. We are responsible for the red flags we ignored early on in a relationship and the interaction proceeding. What you are willing to tolerate and excuse is a testament to how you view and what you believe internally you deserve. Self-hate. It might be scary to be alone, but it isn't scarier to live miserably long-term or even in your whole life. Isn't it scarier to know that you missed an opportunity to have the love you want and deserve because you settled for a relationship with a person that you're not even entirely happy with? Our own definition of love do not equal happiness. Real love equals happiness. That begins inside you, not someone else. You'll keep repeating the cycle, the definition of insanity, until you choose to end it, until you choose to put work into yourself. It all comes down to an individual ensuring that what we feel and what we give are returned in equal measure and excusing ourselves from the table if they are not being served. If you know your self-image is poor or you have experienced abuse, neglect, disrespect in a relationship, don't suffer in silence. Learn how to love yourself in order to be loved correctly. While you may not care about how you view yourself or believe it impacts your relationships, it impacts how other people view you and ultimately how they are allowed to treat you, both romantically and platonically. If you are constantly spewing self-hate in front of people, you are telling them you don't value yourself, which communicates to them that they don't have to either, and they won't. No one will ever give you more than you give yourself. You need to learn how to respect yourself. There are tools all over the internet to teach you this. You might want to even talk to friends, get in touch with doing things that you're passionate about, and then go out and do them and start loving yourself first. Start today. Call me at 844-405-HELP. Together we can help each other take our lives back. Be good to yourselves. Always be good to each other. And remember, a simple smile to that stranger at the shopping mall or next door can change your life, and it can change other people's lives forever. May God bless each and every one of you, and start loving yourself, and don't tolerate relationships that do not put the effort in treating you number one. And may God bless you, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. Take good care, and God bless you. Bye-bye now.